Hi, I'm Kendra with Where's Moon Astrology, and today I am talking about the moon in Scorpio. I want to make a quick distinction before I continue between the sun's energy and the moon's energy. Essentially, the sun's energy is going to be expressing loudly and proudly. So the sun in Scorpio is going to be proudly and assertively, dramatically. The energy of the sun is egotistical, dramatic, a bit. It's going to be expressing the traits of Scorpio in those ways. Um, These are the traits you're going to be proud of. These are the traits that are going to be very consciously expressed in your personality. The moon, however, this is very unconscious. This is your knee-jerk emotional reactions. This is how you react when you're with your loved ones. People that you feel very comfortable around are going to get to see the moon's energy in your personality. It's not something that everyone can really see, and it really only comes out in situations where you're provoked on a very visceral level, I guess. Because the rest of the time you're expressing your conscious will, which is the sun. Now, for the moon in Scorpio, the emotional needs are interesting. They're different than a lot of other signs in the sense that um, it's almost like they're really comfortable with a certain level of darkness. So it's almost like what emotionally comforts the moon in Scorpio doesn't have to actually happy. It could just be um, a certain kind of emotional intensity. So being involved in situations that are very intense, being involved with, in relationships that are very intense, being in, looking at their own darkness. I think that moon in Scorpio is probably the moon that is most comfortable looking at their own darkness. You take my moon sign, Sagittarius, not very comfortable with the darkness at all. Sagittarius is a sign that could have a lot of repressed memories and things like that because Sagittarius energy just does not, they don't deal with uh, the darkness very well. Sagittarius is much about trying to find happiness and going on adventures and optimism, etc. The moon in Scorpio is very different from that in the sense that they can really enjoy um, kind of getting to know themselves on this deep level and having, this kind of certain emotional intensity. Another thing about Moon and Scorpio, they really enjoy and are emotionally comforted by feeling a sense of power. So power over themselves, power over their decisions, and unfortunately, often power over others. So having the upper hand in their relationships, having the upper hand at work, and in any kind of human interaction, the Moon in Scorpio is going to find emotional comfort in feeling that they have some kind of power in the situation, or that they have power over another person, especially. Um, Moon in Scorpio can be bad about mind games and things like that. Emotionally driving them, this need for power, this need for depth and intensity. um, I would almost say that the moon in Scorpio is emotionally comforted by putting themselves in situations that are going to transform them. So it's I think the moon in Scorpio, more than other moon signs, can actually kind of unconsciously put themselves in very intense and almost kind of traumatic situations. Um, because they are more than willing to look at their darkness. And when they're put in this situation that brings this darkness out of them, I think they're most in their element when they're in this place of emotional intensity, upheaval, when they are experiencing these very intense emotions. It's almost like they're really in their element when they're out of their element. It's going to be very emotionally comforting to the Moon and Scorpio person is feeling a sense of loyalty from the people that they love. Scorpio is very, very, very loyal. And I think it takes a lot for them to trust someone because they are scorpionic on a very deep level. And Scorpio is a sign that does not trust easily and is very skeptical of people and observes people in order to decide, how far they want to go with this person, if they're trustworthy. Um, so the moon in Scorpio is going to have be very slow to give their trust away. And once they get really hung up on a person, and they really, really want that person to return a certain level of loyalty. Truth be told, Moon and Scorpio is not often going to get themselves in a situation to where someone is close to them and is not loyal to them, um, more often than not, because they do take that time to observe and see if that person is trustworthy, and they have that watery tendency to be very, very self-protective. So the Moon in Scorpio is going to be very loyal, but they're going to expect that loyalty, and they really want their relationships to be very emotionally intense and be able to, uh, they want whoever they're with or whoever, whatever, they want that person to be able to kind of experience the darkness with them, and be able to talk, bring up traumatic situations, and not have people be uncomfortable with these certain really kind of dark and uncomfortable topics. It's really important to Moon and Scorpio to be able to discuss anything, no matter how taboo, no matter how uncomfortable or unsettling. In fact, if they kind of gravitate towards the unsettling. Tyler, the creator, is more than likely a Moon in Scorpio. I don't have his birth time, so he could be a Sagittarius moon, but based on what I know of Tyler, the creator, I think he's probably a Scorpio moon. And I bring him up because if you look at his music, it is very deeply unsettling. I was very, very uncomfortable. The first time I watched Tyler, the Creator music video, I was just sitting there like, oh my God, like, what is he doing? And I'm like, I'm really almost upset by what he, by this song. And it's about like stalking and about like obsession within relationships. And it was like very triggering, but that's almost kind of what Scorpio moon gravitates to. Like, they almost enjoy, I don't want to say they enjoy triggering other people, but they are not afraid to go there. They're not afraid to go to the dark side. And even if that darkness is not really a part of who they are, which I think is probably the case with Tyler the Creator, they're not afraid to explore it through art or music or whatever. And I think, I don't know Tyler the Creator, but I'm pretty sure that all this really scary stuff that he likes to sing about is not him necessarily, but it's him kind of exploring the darkness of the human psyche, if that makes any sense at all. Now, as far as the Moon and Scorpio mother, this is an interesting one. I think more than likely, more than with other moon signs, there's a very complicated relationship. You can see just by sign when you have the Moon in Scorpio. As the mother dictates your moon sign, she pretty much gives you your moon sign by showing you how to receive emotional comfort, showing you how to receive affection and love. She gives you this moon sign that dictates pretty much how you're going to be receiving love, how you're going to be emotionally comforted for the rest of your life. So, the Moon in Scorpio, the positive manifestation of the Moon in Scorpio mother is that she was someone who was very emotionally intense with you. Um, and not in a bad way, not in an unhealthy way, but very expressive of her love. I don't want to say expressive, that's really, Scorpio's not super expressive, but I want to say that she really, you always knew that she loved her by, she loved you by her actions. She was extremely loyal to you, extremely protective of you, um, very, very loving in her actions, very proud and dignified. She was probably somebody that you could really look up to because she was the kind of person who just was rock solid in your life, and she was always fighting for you, and she was always she didn't like to accept help or charity a whole lot. Just somebody that you felt was extremely strong, extremely prideful, and someone that you could look up to. As far as the negative manifestation of the Moon and Scorpio mother, this would be somebody who was probably still kind of protective, but also extremely controlling, and caused you to experience the dark side through your parental relationship very early in life. So you kind of have this low-lying need for the darkness because that's what you experienced very early on with your mother. She was very emotionally intense, manipulative, um, kind of always wanted to assert her power over you, kind of wanted to one up you. And so you experience this dynamic of needing to have the power in a relationship early on in your childhood because of this as well. So she just would have been very manipulative and controlling, and probably would have wanted to know all your business, kind of snooping. Um, I think it would be very difficult to deal with a negative moon in Scorpio mother. Like if you had a moon in Scorpio, if she was expressing that negatively, um, I think that would be very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Anyway, so that's the end of my Moon and Scorpio video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I did want to talk real quick about new planetary reports that I have in my shop. The link is in the description of this video. I have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Chiron, and North Node, South Node reports. Basically, they're taking one planet in your chart, one placement, and really dissecting it so you can understand that one placement in a lot of detail. And it's really good if you have a hard time understanding the energy of one planet in your chart and why maybe it doesn't function the way you read about or whatever. Just if you have a hard time understanding one particular planet, this would be something that's good for you. Anyway, again, I hope that you enjoyed this video and have a great day.